Hey, what's going on out there? It's your boy Smiley coming to you live and direct from my garage. I had a couple people hit me up and wanted to know about my system setup, so what I decided to do was just create a video to kind of show everybody, put it out there so if everybody want to check it out, they can. First and foremost, I want to give a shout out to my man Mike Bedrose, because he invented, or not invented, but he gave me the idea for the first one off of his. And I also want to give a shout out to my man Frankie at Ball & Customs in San Antonio. He really helped me out and got me where I need to be. All right, so what I'm gonna do first, I'm gonna show you what I had to what I have now. All right. So right here, this is what I had initially. This is a 4-inch setup right here, 4-inch right here. All right, and in this one right here, I had 2 tweeters and I had the voltage meter. Right here is where I had a plug to charge my phone. And of course, these are the holes for the bottom of it, just to get the wires and stuff out. So this right here held this speaker. All right. Like I said again, the concept was good. Not a problem with the concept. My only problem was I could not hear anything over 65 miles per hour. And it was irritating. And the reason why it was irritating was because I got friends that got street glides and road glides, and when I'm riding with them, I can hear their music at 65 and 70 and can't hear mine. So that was irritating me. So what I wanted to do was pretty much go back to the drawing board and figure out how I can make what I already had, but make it better, okay? So I saw it a couple times, a lot of people had them, different people, but I reached out, like I said, to my boy Frankie, San Antonio at Ball & Customs, shout out to Frankie, and he showed me his white Heritage with the gold package on it. Man, it was beautiful. And I asked him, how did you make it sound so good? So what he did, he took me under the wing and said, hey, Smiley, I'm gonna show you how I did it. All right, so what he did first and foremost was, it starts with the tube, okay? It starts with the tube. So this tube right here, I went with a little bit bigger tube. All right, as you can see, this right here is a 6-inch tube, okay? So what I did was, I took the measurements from that 6 inches from the old tube that I had, measured it out because I knew I already had the proper length, and I pretty much just cut it. Stand over here, Sissy. So I pretty much just cut it right here. Once I cut it right here, at that point, I knew I had the proper length, okay? Once I had the proper length of it, I said, okay, now I have to sit there, cut the holes out because I still want to put my tweeters back in there, but I didn't want to go back with the old tweeters. These are the old tweeters that I had in there. Again, the setup that I had before, it wasn't a problem. When I'm sitting still, not a problem at all. My thing was, I wanted to hear my bike when I'm rolling down the highway, okay? So those are the tweeters that were in there. This right here was the amp that was in here, okay? So I got rid of all of that and went with another totally different setup. So once I cut the tube off, the 16 inches is what I made it. Then at that point, I had to find an amp. Amp was gonna probably be the hardest thing for me to find because I didn't know where to put it at. My thing was, okay, I can keep the same size tube, maybe drop some bigger tweeters in there, so forth and so on. But then I was like, nah, you know what? It's not gonna give me what I want. So I came up with different ideas. I said, maybe I should build a box on the side of it. Yeah, that's a good idea. Maybe I should get like a little toolbox. I found out about that one late and I couldn't decide which one to get because, like I said, I'm 4 days away from Daytona. So I wanted to be ready by Daytona. That was my thing. So what I did was, I said, you know what? I'm gonna do something totally different. So what I did, I went and got the tube. Tube was cut. Then my next thing was find the amp. The amp that I decided to go with was a JL MX 500 4-channel, full range, all right? That's the amp that I went with. It's 9 inches long, which gave me plenty of room because the tube is 16 inches. It was only about maybe 1.5 inches to 2 inches thick. And the width was only maybe 4 inches. So it fit in the thing perfectly, okay? So once I had the amp, let me show you a picture of the amp. All right, so that's the picture of the amp right there. I had to then find speakers. Now speakers was a little bit more difficult because there were so many different kinds. I've seen everything from Hertz to DS18 to PRV so forth and so on. But I wanted to get one that had the best sound. Of course, I was thinking that maybe if I go with something that has higher wattage, I get a better sound. That's not the case. I talked to a friend of mine named Billy, and Billy explained to me that it's not about the wattage all the time, it's about the sensitivity. Okay, so the sensitivity is the key. The sensitivity on the DS18s that I call them red nips, which is these right here. The sensitivity on these is 93 decibels. So because of 93 decibels, he explained to me that, okay, I saw one, put it like this, I saw one set that was like an 89, 90, and he said when you compare these to one of my speakers, it'll take 3 of your speakers to sound like one of mine, and mine's the 96, I think it was a 96 and 98, okay? So I learned something, all right? So what I did was I said I had to make the best choice. I wanted to make the best choice, but I also wanted to make it affordable. I didn't want to spend $300 on one speaker. Didn't want to do it. So I went with the DS18s. So after I went with the DS18s, let me show you a picture of the DS18s. This how much they are, this is what they look like. Okay, then after that I had to go with the tweeters. Okay? I went with the tweeters. I went with DS18 also. 4 ohm is everything. Everything is 4 ohm. And I went with the 1-inch DS18 tweeters. And here's a picture of them right here. Okay, so now you see what the picture looks like. So you see, I got the speakers, I chose my amp, I got my tweeters. The next thing I had to do was find something for the speakers to sit in. So I reached out to Frankie in San Antonio, asked him what his speakers are sitting in. He told me to get a 7-inch, there are 7-inch light pods. Okay, so I'm putting a 6.5-inch speaker in there. Get the 7-inch light pods, it'll fit good. All right, so here's a picture of the light pods that I got. All right, so after I got the light pods, I then had to get the clamps, and pretty much the clamps that I got. Here's a picture of those clamps, in case anybody want to see the clamps. All right, so I got the light pods, 7 inches. Wasn't really too expensive. Also, another thing that I got. Now, this is one thing that I did do different than Frankie had. Frankie told me to get the wood rings. Now these are 6.5-inch wood rings, okay? These rings right here, they came with a lip on them. But what I did was, I went ahead, or what he told me to do was cut the lip off. So the lip was here, or was it this one? This one. I think this is it. Anyway, I had to cut the lip off. And once I cut the lip off, well, that's not the lip. But anyway, it had a lip on it. I cut the lip off. Then I had to slice it on an angle. So when I sliced it on the angle, I had to cut out probably about maybe a 1/2 inch. And the reason why that is so that when I join it back together, when I squeeze it and put it inside the pod, it'll squeeze and it'll fit in there tight. Okay? Unfortunately, I don't know if I'm too strong or what, but I broke them. So, luckily, I had next day me some new ones. So that's trash. And I got these. Alright? So these are the ones right here that I got. So once I got these right here, these right here are made of plastic, and they still cut the same. They already got the holes in them pre-drilled. I just went ahead and cut between 2 of the holes, about a 1/2 inch. And when I did that, of course, you know, with plastic, it's a lot more flexible. So I was able to get them in there. Once I got them in there, what I did was, I went and got some sealant. Regular sealant, clear adhesive. I put it on the underside of the ring, and I put it on the top of the ring. Once I put it on the top and on the bottom, I just let them sit for about a good hour. Let it dry out and everything. So that part right there was good. So now I put my ring inside the light pod. Once I sat there, it dried out. Once it was strong enough, then I added my speaker. Now, what I didn't realize was, because of the diameter of the speaker and the bezel that came actually with the light pods, I wasn't able to use it. So I didn't use the bezel that came with it. So because I didn't use the bezel that came with it, I had to sit there and create something. So what I did was, I ordered 2 packs of the plastic rings. So what I did, I sandwiched together the plastic one that's already in here, that's sealed. I took another one, put the speaker in first, then took the other black ring and put the black ring on top of it. Then I screwed the black ring onto the speaker. Well, first I screwed the speaker onto the black one that's stuck in there. Then I took the top black one and screwed that into the actual speaker hole also. I had to get longer screws for it to go all the way through. All right? Then once I did that, everything was set. It's set, it's not moving. Then I went ahead and bought some grill covers. Of course, I tried to stay with the DS18 grill covers, so that's the cover that I went with. So after that, of course, you know, drill a hole in the back so the wires can come out, and that's what I did. So now my speakers are set up. The next thing I had to do was drill the holes for the actual tube, okay? So this is what my tube looked like before, okay? Now, once I had the holes and stuff like that drilled, I had to get everything set up. So as you can see here, this is the way my setup looks. I put a piece of wood in there because I knew that this right here, the amp, was going to be just rolling around in there, and I didn't want that to happen. So what I did was I drilled the amp onto the wood, okay? Then I drilled the wood through the PVC so that the wood doesn't move. So now when wood's not moving, amp's not moving, okay? Then if you come on this side, this is where I got my wires running through. All of my wires are here. And my Bluetooth module, it sits right there. Everything is tacked down onto the wood. So my speakers aren't going anywhere, the wood's not going anywhere, and the amp's not going anywhere. So everything is pretty much secure. All right, so this right here was just a quick something that I did just for Daytona, just to get something on there, but it's gonna end up looking like this. Now that we're back home, I'm gonna go ahead and get this diamond tuck cover to replace this one right here. And pretty much, as you can see, come on this side. As you can see right there in the middle, come on this side. As you can see right there in the middle, I have my phone charger. I went with a different style phone charger. I went with something that sits a little bit more flush on here. Okay, so it's not really poking out. And of course, I still got my voltage meter, and I still got my tweeters right here. All right, so pretty much, man, that's it. And as you can see, I mean, you've heard it before. So you know it sounds good, it sounds clear, and I still have enough power in my amp to add 2 more speakers that I'm considering, but I'm not really completely sold on them yet. I'm gonna enjoy this right here, what I have right now, probably wait a little while before I switch it up. But other than that, man, that right there is the setup. So if you got any more questions, any concerns or ideas, anything like that, hey, just hit me up, man. I'll be glad to help you out, all right? It's your boy Smiley, coming to you live and direct from the garage, home of the Silverback next gen LEDs. Hey, we're right here. You need anything, lights, bed rolls, hit me up. I can try to help you out. Peace.